Joining me now is Victor Gao. He's the chair professor, Soochow University. Victor, I got to ask you about the former National Security Advisor John Bolton's book detailing conversations Donald Trump had with world leaders, especially Chinese President Xi Jinping.
Well, while I personally do not agree with lots of John Bolton's opinions or decisions, I think what he said in his memoir probably is very much true. And I think this should shed light to the level of hypocrisy and double standards displayed at the very highest level in the White House. And I think people in the United States, people in China, people everywhere in the world should be aware of this kind of double standard. And I hope the American people will deserve better in the next election and in the years and decades to come, because decency, honesty, straightforwardness is actually very much needed in the top leadership of a country as important as the United States.
We know that the U.S. president signed this Uyghur Human Rights Policy Act into law today as news of this book was making headlines. What do you make of the timing of the signing of this bill?
Well, the timing is very unfortunate and very unconstructive. Why? Because the Chinese top diplomat Yang Jiechi is meeting with Mike Pompeo in Hawaii as we speak. And this signing into law is definitely poisoning the overall relations between China and the United States. Overall, I would say people in the United States need to be fully aware that Xinjiang, being an autonomous region of China, borders with altogether 8 foreign countries, including, very importantly, Afghanistan, where the war in Afghanistan has been raging almost into the 20th century. And Afghanistan, over these last 2 decades, has become a really hotbed of terrorism, extremism, and these things spilling over into Xinjiang have really created a lot of very dangerous phenomena in China. Extremism is very much prohibited because every kid has the right to go to school. No one of whatever faith or religion or color of the skin has any right to deprive any kids, including equally girls, from going to school. Terrorism is a crime punishable by law in China, and separatism is treason treated in China, and the government and the Chinese people do not allow these evil forces to wreak havoc in Xinjiang or elsewhere in China. This is the root cause of the problems in Xinjiang, and we need to be very objective about the real evils that's going on in Xinjiang. And I think people in China want to be united against these evil forces rather than falling victim.
Victor, I want to point out quickly that the U.S. president did mention, according to Bolton in his book, that he supported Chinese President Xi Jinping on his approach in Xinjiang. I want to ask you quickly, you mentioned this meeting in Hawaii between the top diplomats. We don't have a lot of time left, but how significant is that meeting with current relations as we speak? What do you think could come out of it?
Well, for China and the United States, the two most important and largest economies in the world, for these two countries not to talk in an objective and friendly way is a disaster for both China and the United States, as well as for the whole world. Therefore, leaders of these two countries need to engage. And it is unfortunate that the leaders, including the top leaders, have not been talking with each other for quite a few months. Therefore, there is a lot of expectation for the meeting in Hawaii that something will come out, at least more stable development of China-U.S. relations, rather than continuous poisoning of this most important bilateral relations in the world. We are all looking forward to hear some positive news out of the meeting in Hawaii.